Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week, Senator Elizabeth Dole sits down with reporter Carla Babb to talk about her life in politics.
I'm Justin Smith. I'll tell you about a political group that some people say threatens the state university system.
In sports, if you thought Tyler Hansbrough was good before, wait until you see him without his mask.
Weathercaster Laura Pagano is here with your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and March Madness in Chapel Hill. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the March 21st edition of Carolina Week. I'm Kate Schoen.
And I'm Alex Villarreal. Thanks for joining us. Throughout the semester, we've given you an inside look at some of our leaders on Capitol Hill. Most recently, reporter Carla Babb sat down with Senator Elizabeth Dole to discuss her life as a pioneer for women in politics.
October 2005.
Senator Elizabeth Dole is used to being surrounded by men. She was student body president at Duke University and one of only 24 women in her class at Harvard Law.
And I'll never forget the first words that I heard from one of my male classmates was, "What are you doing in this law school, Elizabeth?"
Now, a woman who makes the laws, Dole says she wants to see more women in politics.
I think that our numbers are increasing, but our political power doesn't really equate to our economic power.
While women-owned businesses employ more workers than all Fortune 500 companies combined, women still make up just 16% of the House and Senate. As Secretary of Transportation, Dole set up a plan to help women advance. Her female workforce steadily grew in numbers and influence, and she still hears success stories from women today.
And every now and then, when I'm going through an airport, in fact, it's happened 3 times, a woman will come running after me to say, "Mrs. Dole, I was a part of your women's program and I'm now the manager of this airport."
Well, you've been a powerhouse here in the Republican Party and in our state. Are you making plans for 08?
Oh, I'm running for re-election, no question.
Her path has made her one of the most powerful women on Capitol Hill. She has been president of the Red Cross, held multiple cabinet positions, and is now our senior senator.
The White House almost has to put in a special line because we're calling to say, okay, we're going to have to, look at this, this, and this before my vote is going to be there, because we want to make certain that we take care of the needs of people in North Carolina.
But with a new majority in Congress and a lame duck president, it might be tough for her to get reelected and realize these goals. In Washington, D.C., I'm Carla Babb, Carolina Week.
Senator Dole is currently pushing for new legislation to stop drug trafficking in North Carolina. She says she'll keep us updated on her progress.
Some UNC students recently got the thrill of a lifetime, courtesy of the United States Army. ROTC cadets had the chance to ride in a Black Hawk helicopter as part of their military training. After a quick refresher on helicopter safety, the students boarded the Black Hawk. Within minutes, they were off into the Carolina blue sky. They got a bird's eye view of Chapel Hill landmarks as the helicopter performed tactical maneuvers. UNC freshman Adam Cranmer says the ride is an exciting part of training.
I think it's a great opportunity for students. I mean, they get to see what the military does. These students probably won't ever have the opportunity to actually go out and do these things.
The going rate for each of these Black Hawk helicopters is a mere $6 million. Well, in the wake of the war in Iraq's 4-year anniversary, opposition continues to grow. On Tuesday, anti-war protesters pounded the pavement at different campuses across the country. At UNC, students rallied in the pit. They then walked to Franklin Street, where they blocked traffic for several minutes. The protest was part of the March 20th Student Day of Action against the war. Students at more than 80 campuses and high schools walked out of their classes to show their opposition to the war.
What do we want? And if we don't get it,
Graduate student Tamara Tall says students need to voice their opinion to make a difference.
We wanted to send the politicians who are supposed to represent us a message that they're not doing a good job and we're going to take the power back. The people are speaking and the people want this war to be over.
Police were ready for any problems, but the protest ended peacefully, without any incidents or arrests.
This week, the Campus Y wants to make you more aware of a problem that's literally in your own backyard. It's Poverty Awareness Week. On Monday, UNC students gathered at Haynes Arts Center to watch the documentary Waging a Living. After the film, they discussed poverty issues with Professor Daniel Gitterman. Event organizer Mike Tarrant says he hopes to inspire policy change along with student action.
We've paired up with the Community Initiative to End Homelessness and the local IFC here in Chapel Hill because we want them involved. Because if we get them involved, we feel that we're much more likely to inspire change and inspire action on the policy-making level, because there's only so much students can do.
You can still get involved with Poverty Awareness Week. On Wednesday, sign up for the 24-hour hunger fast at the Franklin Street Post Office. On Thursday, there will be a camp out in the pit where you can sleep in a box to get a taste of life on the streets. And on Friday, North Carolina NAACP President William Barber will tell you how to take action now at the Campus Y. The increase in the number of students at all 16 UNC system schools means more construction and a new education plan. The student population at UNC schools will increase by 50% in the next decade, and that means even more courses will be in demand. However, many of the new courses will be offered online instead of inside classrooms. The UNC system will offer more than 90 online degree programs. North Carolina system leaders hope to expand the program, which will be called UNC Online, nationally and internationally.
UNC Chapel Hill has a strong network of alumni and supporters, but students from some of the state's other public universities are criticizing a political group that pushes for Carolina causes. Opponents say the Political Action Committee threatens the state's university system. Carolina Week's Justin Smith joins us from the newsroom with more. So Justin, what can you tell us about this group?
Kate, the Political Action Committee Citizens for Higher Education isn't officially linked to UNC Chapel Hill, but online records show a donor list filled with people who have Carolina connections. Now, critics say people who are supposed to look out for all the state's public universities shouldn't be allowed to join the PAC.
5 seconds to be allowed the clerk will report it.
With the push of a button, lawmakers give a bill the green light or stop it in its tracks. How are the votes influenced by campaign contributions? Senator Julia Bozeman is co-chair of the Higher Education Appropriations Committee. Her most recent campaign received $6,000 from the group Citizens for Higher Education. But Bozeman says the money from Carolina supporters doesn't influence her decisions.
Some of the donors are very active, some of the alumni and supporters, but you know, we're going to do the right thing here in the legislature to make sure that our entire university system is benefited.
Although lawmakers say they're not swayed by contributions, NC Central University student Jessica Hill says schools like hers that don't have a powerful PAC can't compete with the schools that do.
Our goal is not to lower the standard of education at Chapel Hill and State, but to simply enable other schools to reach that same standard of education through fairness.
The UNC Board of Governors oversees the 16-campus system and is supposed to ensure fairness. That's why Hill and other PAC opponents want the board to bar its members from donating to groups that favor individual campuses.
You should be in a position where you can kind of be a little bit less partial in your job.
Records show Board of Governors member Fred Mills has donated more than $5,000 to Citizens for Higher Education in recent years. He wouldn't go on camera, but told me the PAC helps all the schools in the UNC system. Board Chairman Jim Phillips questions the legality of banning BOG members from donating to the political groups.
People have a right to assemble, people have a right to speak, people have a right to participate in the political process.
Board member Charles Norwood spoke against the PACs, even though he knows many of the donors.
I know them personally, know how they feel. I think that they're making a mistake in the way they're going about it.
Norwood said he believes the PAC supporters have the best interest of the university at heart, but he also called for an open discussion about the issue, possibly between the PAC and the Board of Governors. Kate?
Justin Smith reporting from the newsroom. Thanks, Justin.
A new report shows avian flu continues to threaten the poultry industry. Coming up, we'll explain what farmers and state officials are doing to protect you.
You'd never know it on the battlefield. But nearly half of today's military are National Guard and reservists. However, they can't answer our nation's call without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit esgr.org and find out how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours.
Medical research saves lives. It produces treatments and cures for killers like heart disease, AIDS, cancer. Don't let these killers get away with murder. Support medical research.
As graduation day approaches, many seniors still aren't sure what to expect. But the answers to your questions are easier to find than you might think. On Wednesday, various campus organizations hosted a commencement information day. Graduating students headed to the Great Hall to do everything from purchase their caps and gowns to register for an alumni email account. Senior marshals were also on hand to help students make sure graduation day is a success. If you missed today's information fair, you can get your questions answered by following the link on our website, carolinaweek.org.
The 5-hour ride from UNC to DC makes our nation's capital a hub for recent graduates. Reporter Katie Klein joins us live to tell us about the pipeline from Chapel Hill to Washington, D.C. Katie?
Alex, with only 53 days left until graduation, many seniors still don't know where they'll be next year. But I talked to 2 UNC grads who were in the same position last year, and now they're building their careers in Washington, D.C.
The nation's capital, a hectic city, and a hotspot for Carolina grads. Washington, D.C. has approximately 10,000 UNC alums walking its streets every day.
This city, as big as it is really, you bump into a lot more people than you realize.
Adrian Raley works in a congressional office, and Tom Merrihew at a large law firm. Both were facing graduation this time last year, and like many seniors, didn't know where they'd be a year out.
Partly was luck. Being in the right place at the right time, especially on the Hill, is really important.
Raley says it's everything from the political climate to its fast-paced culture that attracts many UNC grads to D.C.
Anything you want to do, I think DC has it.
With so many Tar Heels in one city, the alumni network is large and valuable.
Wherever you are, the sky is always Carolina blue.
General Alumni Association organizer Anita Walton says the mission is to keep alumni informed and involved.
The network is not just about who you meet, but it's also about who they know and what information they can share.
Merrihew says his UNC education was another great advantage.
It's amazing how many courses I took and at the time thought, I don't know if I'd use this, and now I'm using it every day.
And for seniors about to step into the world, diploma in hand, he offers some advice.
You shouldn't be nervous or scared, just be prepared to experience some different things and try some different career paths, and you'll eventually find what you're best at and what makes you happy.
And Alex, there's GAA groups across the country and across the world. To find out more about events and locations, you can visit our website at carolinaweek.org.
Katie Klein reporting live. Thanks, Katie. Have you ever been told not to use your cell phone in a hospital? Well, a recent study shows hospital cell phone bans might be unnecessary. The Mayo Clinic tested the use of cell phones near 192 medical devices. Researchers found no interference with the equipment when the phones were in use. Currently, UNC hospitals allow cell phones only in the lobby and outside the building. Dental hygiene student Helen Birch says lifting the ban on cell phone usage could benefit both employees and hospital patients.
Where you don't have adequate access to having people around you, you're trying to find people or find help, it'd be a definite bonus to just have your cell phone on you and be able to call, whether it's personal or in a hospital setting.
Results from the study also indicated that portable CD devices can skew heart monitor results.
Well, nicotine patches might become a thing of the past. New research shows quitting smoking could be as easy as a walk in the park. The studies found that moderate exercise, such as walking or resistance training, helps curb nicotine cravings. Some researchers say exercise helps because it acts as a distraction from smoking. Others say it helps produce the mood-enhancing hormone dopamine, which can temporarily decrease the body's dependence on nicotine. Senior Jessica Walker is trying to quit smoking, and she says when she wants a cigarette, exercise has always seemed to help.
Oh, I've never seen any studies like that, but it kind of makes sense because when I'm exercising more, I want cigarettes a lot less.
The studies did not look at whether exercise helps a smoker quit long term, but in the short term, moderate exercise was just as effective as a nicotine patch for curbing cravings.
Recent cases of the avian flu overseas have public health officials concerned. The virus has yet to reach the U.S., but local farmers are still monitoring the spread of the disease. Johnny O joins us live in the studio with the details. Johnny?
Alex, Department of Agriculture officials say there's no indication the disease has reached our state, but they want to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. Eflin farmer Ben Bergman is keeping a cool head despite reports from the World Organization for Animal Health that avian flu has spread among wild birds and poultry in Europe and Asia.
I'm concerned. I'll admit I don't lose sleep over it, in that I think it would be a very, very rare chance event for it to show up certainly on this farm or in the proximity of this farm.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says the H5N1 strain of avian flu can wipe out an entire flock of birds in 48 hours. Infected birds contaminate dirt, water, and feed. Dr. Mary Ann McBride says the virus spreads easily among birds and in rare cases can infect humans.
Only 250 people in the world have become infected with it. If you compare that with just the regular old garden variety human influenza, we typically have 1,000 North Carolinians die every year from the regular old garden variety flu.
Avian specialist Dr. Sarah Mason says an avian flu outbreak could have a huge impact on poultry, but says the industry is ready.
Companies are very aware of biosecurity risks if they allow traffic in and out. So poultry companies really have been operating for many years under a disease prevention program.
State officials say poultry is still safe to eat as long as it's well cooked.
Johnny O reporting live from the newsroom. Thanks, Johnny.
We're now joined by weathercaster Laura Pagano. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
So the temperatures the past few days have just been up and down and up and down. I don't know whether to wear a t-shirt or a jacket.
I know,
what's going on?
me either. And that is very, very true, and I'll let you know what's going to be happening in the next couple of days. But the weather has been up and down in the past week. But today, it was nice enough for construction crews to do some work. Will the cold weather be swept away? I'll let you know when we come back.
To whom it may concern, I'm hurting. All I done heard is blood-curdling curses. Mama pops are berserking again while I'm burning up in the furnace and searching for the explanation for what I did to deserve to get deserted and then repeatedly beaten in the face with my worthlessness. No sense of purpose. It got drowned, and I doubt if you were to open my mind and step inside it right now, you could even feel what I'm talking about. Cause for the pain in my veins, the words can't explain, and the hate is mounting, and I can't contain it. I'm bound to break out in the days I'm counting, and I'm sick of the shouting, man. I'm about to just.
Animal cruelty, human violence. Break the connection.
Advice for women who want to find that special someone. Be active. Stay fit. Eat right. Don't smoke. Take good care of yourself. And you'll increase your chance of being around to meet the love of your life.
Grandma!
Learn more about reducing your risk of heart disease and stroke. Contact the American Heart Association.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Laura Pagano. Well, in the past couple of days, we've seen the clouds roll in and out, but I'm here to tell you that Sunny skies are going to be prevailing for the rest of the week. Warm conditions, and with spring comes more allergies, so I'll let you know what the index is going to look like in the next couple of days. But taking a look at the satellite radar, we see some precipitation towards our northwest, and this is going to be trailing off toward the east, not affecting our viewing area. But looking closer towards the southeast, we're going to see that Raleigh, Durham, and into Greensboro, we're seeing some patchy clouds, but these are going to be moving off towards the east as well. We do see some showers, but we shouldn't be concerned about that too much, maybe Thursday morning. But taking a look at the surface map, we're going to see we do have some precipitation associated with a frontal system, and this is a warm front, so that should indicate that we're not going to have any cold temperatures in the next couple of days. And as we look into the surface map for Thursday, this is just going to be trailing off to the east, and we do see that cold front coming towards us, but we shouldn't be worried about that until the later part of the weekend. So we take a look then at the 4-day forecast, and we'll see that Friday, it's looking absolutely beautiful all the way through the weekend, but the only place to be concerned about is Thursday, where we might have a few showers in the vicinity. Look at those temperatures. You can't get any better than that. Temperatures hovering around the 80s, and even on Saturday, it might reach up into the upper 80s if we get lucky. So say you want to enjoy this weather in other places in the Carolinas, how about the mountains? As well, we're seeing temperatures hovering right about 75 degrees, maybe even touch 80, but we do have some showers in the vicinity on Sunday. But how about heading I-40 east towards Wilmington perhaps, and we'll see that Saturday and Sunday looking great as well. Look at those temperatures, around 75 degrees, and you might have to get a coat for the evenings. But for those of you who have respiratory problems, I'm here to show you that it shouldn't be too bad for those of you who have allergies for mold or for maybe grass, but for those with allergies with pine, you need to look out for Friday and Saturday because we're seeing that allergy conditions are going to be very, very high for those days, but Sunday should look beautiful. So the weekend is going to be absolutely beautiful. Get outside and enjoy it. That's all I can
between
say.
the basketball and those beautiful
I know.
temperatures, Chapel Hill is the place to be.
It definitely is.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Sportscaster Brandon Curry joins us now. Brandon, first, I like the pink. It's looking good.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, so a lot of students weren't able to follow sports over spring break. They were gone.
But that's why we have Carolina Week Sports. And coming up in said sports, St. Patrick's Day is long gone, but tell that to the Irish. Women's basketball team went head-to-head with some pesky leprechauns.
Daddy, why is the sky blue?
Well, to match your pretty eyes.
Nope, not even close. See, all colors have wavelengths that are diffused by oxygen and nitrogen. Since blue is the shortest wavelength, it's diffused up to 10 times more.
Who taught you that?
Mommy?
By age 12, too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
Know why mathematics is the basis of life as we know it?
You tell me.
It's her future. Do the math.
It's commonly found in the transverse segment of the colon with vascular congestion and smooth surface.
Typically, the biopsy proved to be a tubulovillous adenoma.
It's a
cellular-
polyp. Why doesn't he just come right out and say it? It's a polyp.
Sir, do you mind?
Look at your textbook. Could I see that pointer?
We got one. Stopping colon cancer is simple. Get the polyp early and stop colon cancer before it even starts.
Wait.
Just get the test.
I need the credits.
Get the polyp.
Attica! Oh, shut up!
Get the cure.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brandon Curry. During a recent trip to the dentist, football head coach Butch Davis received sobering news. Tests revealed that a small growth removed his gum is cancerous. Further tests showed no cancer anywhere else in his body. Davis will undergo chemotherapy as a precautionary measure. The men's basketball team is in familiar territory, the Sweet 16. Carolina managed to survive and advance against Michigan State. Here we are at Winston-Salem. The place is packed. I was there. It was awesome. Terry, first up with the basket of the game. Here we have Lawson passing to Hansbrough, still in that mask. But here we have him emerging like a butterfly from a cocoon. This is his first shot right here without that mask. He had 19 points in just the first half, which can't count Michigan State out. Drew Neitzel for 3. He had 6 3-pointers, 26 points overall. Second half, Neitzel was off, started missing shots. Same play, lost in Hansbrough again. Hansbrough finished with 33 points and 9 rebounds. But let's talk about senior Rayshon Terry, back in his hometown, Winston-Salem. 12 of his 14 points in the game's last 7 minutes. As soon as the clock hit 0, the Heels celebrated their first trip to the Sweet 16 since they won the national championship. All eyes soon focused on UNC's next opponent, Southern Cal.
You know, the last year when we played them out there, second half they kicked our tails worse than anybody kicked us all year long. It was a nightmare. They do some unique things. They face guard you away from the basketball. They don't play some people at all. You know, so it's he can coach.
You know, as soon as we found out that we play USC, everybody's like, you know, we owe them, which is true. You know, last year they lost to them, so we owe them big.
The women's team looked to capture a Sweet 16 berth of their own, but not before facing the Fighting Irish. Latoya Pringle started out the game with an easy jumper. She led UNC with a double-double. Notre Dame kept the game tight, matching Carolina's score for most of the game, and the Fighting Irish got their first lead midway through the first half. It's coming up right there for 2. They held this lead for a few minutes, but for most of the game, the lead bounced back and forth between the two teams. Notre Dame scores to take the lead, but Ivory Latta says, nuh-uh. She puts in a 3 of her own. Finally, the Heels go on a 15-0 scoring streak to finish off the Irish. The Tar Heels are now headed to Dallas, where they'll face George Washington in the Sweet 16. A win in that game will pair the Heels with the winner of Georgia-Purdue. If Carolina survives both games, it's back to the Final Four for a second straight year. The UNC baseball team welcomed the Towson Tigers to Bosch on Tuesday. The Heels lit up the Towson pitching staff for 10 runs on 14 hits. In the bottom of the second, Carolina's Mike Cavassini laid down this bunt that Towson pitcher Austin Hurd misplayed. Kyle Seager was able to score from second base, and Cavassini ended up on third base, sliding in. Pretty impressive for just a bunt. First baseman Dustin Ackley had 3 RBIs in the game, including this 1-run double in the bottom of the 5th. 6 Tar Heel pitchers took the mound and allowed the Tigers to score only twice. Coach Mike Fox reached a milestone with this 10-2 win and now has 900 victories. And it's official, Terry has been diagnosed with strep, but is still expected to play Friday.
Okay, that's all I need to hear.
Great, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. Well, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a freshman, a senior, or even a graduate student. It's easy to catch basketball fever at UNC.
And trust me, it can be fun even if you have no idea how bracket pools work. Next, we'll see how some new students have developed a taste for March Madness.
Fruit. What a tasty treat. Fruits packed with potassium and other nutrients can help keep your heart pumping strong during the game, and they give you energy back so you can take on the next activity. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Well, the Tar Heels are on a roll in the NCAA tournament, and the fever pitch is spreading. Reporter Ashley Perryman shows us how new fans are tapping into the excitement.
This weekend's promise of the Sweet 16 will pack every bar and restaurant that has a TV. Manager of Spanky's Gavin Toth says the tournament always requires creative seating solutions.
We tend to get a lot of what we call campers, and they just sit in the restaurant and they stay for however many games we have, you know, whether it's Carolina or whether they're cheering for somebody else.
Not every student has the time to camp at sports bars, but many get connected to the excitement through online brackets and news updates. Grad student Brandon Lee says even watching at home is a blast.
I did my undergraduate at NC State, and I was never that big on sports. But now that I'm going to a university with an actual rivalry, This year, the NCAA tournament is just ridiculous. The first years get together and we watch the games, and it's just so much more of an authentic college experience, actually be a part of a rivalry, instead of being in the college down the street that tries to be a part of a rivalry.
I got to tell you, it really is hard to escape the excitement of the tournament at this time of the year. You know, I just saw Tyler Hansbrough on campus today, and I could tell he was thinking about the win.
I'm sure he is. I think we're going all the way. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Well, thanks very much for watching. Have a good night.